Are you a fan of Mia Sheridan? Did you know she put a new book out? It's called Heart of the Sun. I gave this one 5 stars and 2 on the spice meter. Friends to Lovers, Rockstar, Bodyguard, Dystopian, Forced Proximity, Childhood Trauma and Childhood Friends, Slow Burn, and Second Chance Romance. So here's some of my thoughts on this book. If you're coming into this book expecting it to be like Archer's Voice, right now, don't. While this book does have angst like Archer's Voice, it is nothing like Archer's Voice. Archer's Voice to me was super emotional and just very, very different. This is not. This is action-packed and exciting and just very survival of the fittest. And like I said, it's a dystopian, and no, it's nothing. Yeah, this is completely a whole new world. And it's exciting and it's great, but just nothing like Archer's Voice. So like I said, if you're coming in expecting it to be like Archer's Voice, it's not. It's very, very exciting. I loved it. I loved how exciting it was. I liked it. To me, it was great. You heard me say it's exciting and it's whatnot. So the book does move at a pretty quick pace. You know that there's going to be some action scenes. And with those action scenes, you know you're going to get an overprotective male main characters occasionally. And so obviously you're going to get a lot of fun with that. I loved in this book, you get a lot of personal growth with the characters as well in this book, which for me was really good. That is one thing that both of those books did have in common, is you did have the personal growth between the characters. In this book, even though it is a dystopian, it is set in contemporary times, and with the event that does happen, it is very real world and kind of like, oh my gosh, this could actually happen, and what would happen, like the whole world would actually fall apart like this. It's crazy, and to me that was actually really cool. I really enjoyed the aspect of that in this book. One of my favorite things in this book is something I actually enjoy in a lot of books. I like when characters have a backstory, especially when they are the friends to lovers. I really like when they had the backstory of when they were children and they kind of grow up together, or they had something, you know, happen in their past. And this one definitely has it. So you have like kind of that stuff that they have to work through and build through. And why that's happening, obviously stuff is happening and their worlds are falling apart. And so they're not just working through obviously everything, you know, falling apart around them. They're working through that. And to me, that just add extra layers to the story. And obviously I like things complicated. We've talked about this. I like angst. I like a lot to my stories. I just don't like simple stories. We know I like layers upon layers upon layers in my stories. And this one definitely had several layers for me, and I enjoyed that as well. There is some spice in this book, so be prepared. It is mild spice, so there's not a ton of spice, but there is some spicy scenes. So I do want to say that, so just so everybody knows, there is spice, so be prepared. There is spicy scenes. So there is some things brought up with the past that, you know, you probably should check trigger warnings. I know I did not include that in the beginning, but it does not hurt to always check your trigger warnings in books, just because you never know. You never know what's going to trigger somebody. So go ahead and just peep at those trigger warnings before you jump into the book. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. I loved how thrilling it was. So if you are somebody who really enjoys contemporary dystopians, then I definitely would recommend this book for you. Again, this is a contemporary romance. I'm going to give you a quick overview so you can decide whether you want to read this book or not. Emily and Tuck are childhood friends who have grown apart and are recently reacquainted. When their plane crashes, they learn the world as they've known it has changed forever. Both Emily and Tuck just want to go home, only getting home is going to be harder than they ever expected, especially with Emily's movie star boyfriend in tow and the dangers lurking around every corner. This is a romance book and a survival when disaster strikes type book, and I loved it, and I think you just might too.